A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a pivotal moment for the Trump administration, President Donald Trump's extensive tax cut and spending bill has successfully navigated its final legislative hurdles, receiving approval from the Republican-controlled House of Representatives with a narrow 218 to 214 vote. This monumental legislation, which aims to make the 2017 tax cuts permanent, fund an immigration crackdown, and introduce new tax breaks promised during Trump's 2024 campaign, now awaits the president's signature, with a celebratory signing event scheduled at the White House. The bill's passage marks a significant victory for Trump, who has been vocal about his desire to see the legislation enacted by the July 4th Independence Day holiday. Throughout the legislative process, Trump employed a mix of charm, threats, and intense pressure to ensure Congress met his deadlines. The final version of the bill is a staggering 869 pages long and is projected to add $3.4 trillion to the national debt, which currently stands at $36.2 trillion. Despite concerns regarding the bill's fiscal implications and its potential impact on healthcare programs, Republicans largely rallied behind the legislation, with only 2 of the House's 220 Republicans opposing it. Representative Virginia Foxx of North Carolina praised the bill, stating it provides historic tax relief for working families while simultaneously investing in border security and reducing government inefficiencies. However, every Democrat in Congress voted against the measure, condemning it as a giveaway to the wealthy that would leave millions without health insurance. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries delivered an extensive speech, lasting nearly 9 hours, criticizing the bill for prioritizing tax breaks for billionaires at the expense of everyday Americans. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, estimates that the legislation will lower tax revenues by $4.5 trillion over the next decade while cutting spending by $1.1 trillion, primarily affecting programs like Medicaid, which serves 71 million low-income individuals. These cuts could result in nearly 12 million people losing their health insurance, according to the CBO's analysis. In response to concerns about these cuts, Republicans allocated $50 billion for rural health providers to mitigate the adverse effects of the bill. Analysts have pointed out that while the wealthiest Americans are set to benefit significantly from the tax cuts, lower-income individuals may see their financial situation worsen due to the reduction in safety net programs. The increased debt burden created by this legislation has raised alarms among financial experts, with some warning that it may transfer wealth from younger generations to older ones. Moody's recently downgraded U.S. debt due to escalating financial liabilities, and foreign investors are expressing concerns about the attractiveness of U.S. Treasury bonds following the bill's passage. On the brighter side, the legislation prevents tax increases that were scheduled to impact most Americans at the end of the year when Trump's 2017 tax cuts were set to expire. Now, those cuts are made permanent, and additional tax breaks are introduced for parents, businesses, tipped income, overtime pay, seniors, and auto loans, fulfilling key campaign promises made by Trump. The final bill features more substantial tax reductions and aggressive healthcare cuts than earlier versions, reflecting intense negotiations and compromises made during the Senate deliberations. Notably, contentious provisions related to artificial intelligence regulations and a retaliatory tax on foreign investments were dropped to facilitate the bill's passage. As Trump prepares for the signing celebration, he continues to assert that the legislation will spur economic growth and provide much-needed relief to American families. The coming days will reveal how this monumental bill will shape the nation's economic landscape and impact millions of Americans. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.